Are you a deviant? You know, like those of us who binge watch serial killer programs, laugh at the stupid stuff people do, and revel in anything adult? Well, you found your people. Join us as we crack open the doors to the padded cell and release the insanely stupid, the weirdly wonderful, and those who choose to live outside societal norms. We delve into the strange, the macabre, the sexy, and the outrageous. So, if you're a deviant, then you have your place with us in the padded cell. This in a bit of an order. I'll just do what I was talking, fuck it. Ready?
I'm ready, yeah.
Good. Hello. We're on camera, hopefully.
Oh, hello, yeah, I forgot about...
Well, maybe we are.
Well, maybe, yeah.
Maybe we are.
Hello.
We're just having a little test.
Yeah.
And welcome to episode 130 with Andy.
Hello, how are you?
Andy and his legs.
Yeah, I would have thought, you know, like, I came a bit formal last time and that, and, you know, because, like, health is my life and all that shit, like, I came on my bike and I thought I'd treat you all to the legs.
You've treated me to your legs, but how brown are they? We've just been saying how brown your
they're all
legs
right.
are.
I've had a couple of days of sunlight, they're getting to, you know, what they should be like.
Yeah, very good. I'm very impressed. Mine is staying firmly in my jeans.
Yeah, I'm supposed to give all you padded salads a treat.
Woohoo! They're all reaching for the sick bags.
Yeah,
I'm only
they're all
joking.
like
I'm only joking.
Delete stream.
Have you? Oh, you probably wouldn't have listened to the last episode yet, have you? I don't think you've listened to any episodes yet. Not our last episode. The last episode that went out only on Thursday. You've been too busy, I think.
Do you know what? I haven't, you know.
It was me and Jimmy.
No, I haven't. But like we were saying downstairs before, like everything's just a
blur right now.
Everything's just a frigging whirlwind at the moment, you know what I mean?
Should we say why? Because that's where I was leading. In the last episode that I did with Jim, we obviously announced our news about leaving the club.
Shut up, are you?
Do you know what? Just for a minute when you were looking at me then, I was like, either he doesn't want me to say, or he's changed his mind or something. Yeah. Oh my God, please don't change your mind. I'm already like three-quarters of the way through what I need to be doing to hand this fucking thing over. You can't back out now.
No.
Well, you can, but please don't.
Technically, yeah, but I mean...
Anyway, should we tell them what we're talking about, just in case?
Yeah, go on.
You all should have heard the last episode with me and Jim that we're leaving Townhouse, that we're moving on. God, even saying it sounds a bit weird. Mm-hmm. It's not a bad thing, by the way. It's just like actually saying it out loud is making it really real. Yeah. And every time I say, and Andy and Sarah are going to be taking over, part of me just goes, woohoo, the other part's like that. Oh, God, guys, I'm really excited for you, but
it's a big thing, isn't it?
It is a big thing.
It's huge. It's like, it's massive for you two. Like, you know, you've been steering that ship for so long, isn't it? You know what I mean? And it's, from like a, you know, like a personal point of view, it's fucking massive. Like,
it's huge.
You know what I mean?
It is huge.
It's exciting. It's friggin' terrifying as well, like, but it's exciting.
What's terrifying about it?
I just think it's because it's like it's the fear of the unknown a bit, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's like I've never run a business before. You know, I mean, obviously, like, you know, my background worked in the NHS for a while, and that before that, like, I worked in and managed pubs and what have you. And it's like, but it's just it's just like a totally different ball game, isn't it? When it's like you're at the top, and I mean, I suppose when it's you know, draw the analogy of at the moment when I get stuck in and stuff like that, it's your money.
Well, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But now it's like shit. It's like, you know, finding the money that, you know, making sure that you're paying, you know, salaries and whatnot. It's like a fear of the unknown. And I suppose when you get to like sort of our age, you know, you get a bit set in your ways, and
you do.
Things don't quite register as quick as they used to. Do you know what I mean? But I'm like, I keep saying to Sarah that I'm fairly confident that, like, I think the first three or so months of it's just going to be like, fuck, what are we doing? Do you know, we haven't got a clue what we're doing then. But like, it's like sort of like this time next year, it'll be a lot more like familiar in terms like, well, we know we've got to do this, we've got to do that. It's
I think you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. You and Sarah have been running operations for ages anyway. It's more the business side and the money management, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know. So whereas before you just like take my cars and just go ping.
Well, yeah.
Now it'll be like, okay, should we do this paching now, or should we just leave it until next week because we've got a busy weekend coming up? Yeah. Let's just see, can we hang off a week? And it's not, you know, it's just good business management. At the end of the day.
It is like,
and it'll come to you.
It will do. Do you know what I mean? It's just, I think the first 3 months is going to be a bit of a like, you know what I
That's
mean?
why I'm going to be in the background.
Yeah.
You know, you're not going to be like one day, like I got a box, good luck. You know, I'm going to be in the background, just at the end of the phone or a text or whatever, because there's going to be loads of things that you've never even heard of before, never mind come across, that I have.
Yeah.
And there's not an awful lot in the industry, never mind in the club, that I haven't seen or heard before. And if it is something that we haven't dealt with before, like something that happened a couple of years ago with our team, we got our heads together because we didn't know exactly how we were going to deal with this.
Yeah.
And it's going to be exactly the same thing. At the end of the day, we're landlords, but we're also your friends.
Yeah.
And we want you to succeed. So we're going to be behind you.
Stop, I want to cry on camera, girl.
Oh, let me just pause the camera. I've got a hanky but it's used.
I tell you one thing that was funny, one thing that did blow my mind a bit, and this was only, it's either yesterday or the day before, but the waste management company, so sent me through like an agreement and all that, and you know the way you had to do like this electronic signature, trying to do a fucking signature on a screen, like, do you know what I mean? But, and then it was like, and then it said like name and position.
Yeah.
I didn't put doggy style, like, do you know what I mean? But it was like, it was like, you know, where normally I've written like general manager, I put company director.
Exactly, yeah.
And I felt so as important.
Did you?
I did, yeah.
And you want to get your name above the door, don't you, as a licensee?
Yeah, I've always wanted to do that.
Yeah, well, Jim was made up doing that.
Yeah, that's been a like, well, when we had like the meeting and that to do sort of like announce the news to the team and all that, and we said about, and it's something I've always wanted, so I'm gonna make that happen.
No, absolutely, you should.
Yeah.
There needs to be a bit of an occasion, I think, like little
I
curtain.
do. You know what? I want a fucking red ribbon and a pair of scissors and everything.
I don't know whether me and Jim did something similar, like silly between us. I can't remember what it was now. But he was just so chuffed putting that above the door. It only came down because we decorated and did all the artwork.
Yeah.
I'm dead excited for you. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
And if you're watching this episode or listening to this episode, you don't know what we're talking about. Me and Jim talk about it loads in the last one. And it's quite nice. We talk about some of our memories, but not the ones that we've talked about before, because you've all heard loads of those before. But we talked about some things that people weren't expecting. And I don't know, just like odd events and people that we've met, and it was a really nice episode going down memory lane.
Yeah, must have been,
and also we've been asked recently by Pearl to do our 5 best ever moments, and I'm like, and you ever said to you the day where it was nice when you went out, me and Jim had a shandy at the bottom of the garden and whittled our list of like 100 down to 5. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. But anyway, I'm not going to talk any more about that. You'll have to listen to the last episode, and you'll have to watch social media for our 5 best bits, because it's actually going to go out as like a little bit of a thing. Apparently, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
I've got enough to do. So, dead excited, and it's 19 days today.
God, it's fucking coming, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It is coming, like.
It is. I know, you're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like one day I'm there and one day I'm not. You know, at the end of everything from the 30th to the 1st, it's just going to look exactly the same to everybody else. Just behind the scenes, there's just a change of the guard, that's it.
Yeah. It's just that, it's like, say, it's like the fear of the unknown, and I think like just the first few months is going to be a bit like, what the fuck are we doing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Can we do this? And, you know, but eventually it'll be.
Yeah, we were the same, and we learned by our mistakes, but because we didn't have anybody behind us to go and ask. But you have, so you will be absolutely fine.
Yeah, and I appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, anyway. Good.
Speak for you there, girl.
Speaking for the missus.
Yeah.
That'll be the first and last time you do that, mate.
Yeah. What did you say on that podcast? I'm like, what?
Right, we're going to do some on this days.
Oh, go on. I love these.
This is going out on the 16th of April.
Okay.
I was like, that's 16th of April. What's 16th of April? But 15th of April, wasn't that Hillsborough? Is it 15th of April? Because I'm like, what, the 16th? There's something significant, but I think the Hillsborough was the 15th, wasn't it?
It was 15th.
But we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some other stuff. What?
We're old enough to remember that day, aren't we?
I was on my paper round. And my mate Eddie, I don't know whether he watches this, was on his bike, and he come fucking flying up the road to where I was delivering my papers. And he went, have you heard what's happening? And I was like, what? Anyway, as he said it, people were coming out the streets and I could hear tellies going. And our mate Michael was there with his family.
Yeah.
And we didn't know if he was going to be all right anyway. We found out he was going to be okay. But it's one of them things, isn't it, that you all know where you were, what you were doing at that time. And like you say, we were young enough, we were in our teenage years, early teens, to remember the fallout from it all and everything, don't we? You know, if you don't know what that is, because we've got international watchers and listeners, Hillsborough is a disaster that happened between Liverpool fans and Sheffield Wednesday fans in their ground in Hillsborough. It was an away game, wasn't it?
It was at Sheffield Wednesday's grounds, but it was in the days when they used to, before they stopped having the semi-finals at Wembley, so it was Liverpool against Nottingham Forest.
Oh, that's right.
Sheffield Wednesday's ground. 1989 it was, back in the day.
Back in the day.
Yeah, back in the day.
And there's a big crush, wasn't there, in the cup. And I'm sure that's probably jogged your memory now. You know, if you don't know about it, Google it. I don't think there's many people that don't, to be honest with you.
Yeah, but I think, like you're saying, like if people are like listening from like sort of other countries and that, they might not necessarily. If you're from the UK or you got an interest in football, you'll know about it. But if not, Google it. It was horrendous, and for the likes of like me and Vicky, where we're actually from the city of Liverpool and stuff, like it affected everyone. Whether you were a Liverpool supporter or an Evertonian, it was an horrendous time. But anyway, let's crack on.
16th of April. Right, have you ever been to Madame Tussauds?
I have.
Which one?
London.
What did you think?
It was a long time ago. I liked it.
Did you?
I did. My one takeaway from it was, though, that I found that some of the waxworks were like, fucking hell, I've just had to do a double take because that looked exactly like them. And then there was others where there was like,
bit dodgy.
It's fucking great what they've done, but you can tell it doesn't really look like them the way some of them look like them. Do you know what
some
I mean?
of them are very, very realistic, aren't they?
Very.
And I've seen some where the real person's been standing by their waxwork, and you're like that. Jesus, they're dressed the same and everything. You're like, the Michael Jackson one wasn't so great, if I remember right. It was all right, but I was like, oh, yeah, you could really give your 10 on Michael Jackson's waxwork, and you didn't really. It was a bit like, I liked the
Michael Jackson.
Well, yeah,
that's a whole episode on its own. That
it is. Yeah, you don't want to hear my opinion on Michael Jackson.
I'm not a fan,
aren't you? Have you seen the programme about the boys,
I've
their stories?
I've seen a few. He was. I could go on, but I'm not going to.
All I'll say is there's never ever a good reason why a male who is not related to you should share a bed with you when you're a teenage boy, or even younger. They were younger, weren't they? And then went into the teenage years.
Okay, I'm going to say it right. Okay, so you remember the very first thing that came out about him? The kid was called Jordan Chandler. Yeah. Right. And this was a long time ago, Vic. I mean, like, I don't know how long ago, but it was a long time ago when this happened, and there was like this allegation, and the parents like sort of brought something to the police and whatnot, and that. And it eventually went to the situation where it was going to court, and he paid the family off.
He did.
Now, if you had nothing to hide,
you'd fight.
Why would you pay that family off?
Because he's got all the money in the world to pay for the course, to take it through court and prove his innocence.
Because,
so paying them off to me is guilt.
Exactly. It is,
he doesn't want it to go through court because things are going to come out.
If it's been me, I've got, you know what, I can absolutely blow you out the water with my money, so I'm going to get the best solicitors, lawyers, whatever it is, and I'm going to prove I didn't do it, and he paid them off instead. And like you say, that to me is an admission of guilt, and there's just been too many little things after it.
When you can afford to put it through, when you can afford to go through the course, why are you? You know, and I can't afford to take something through court. If somebody accused me of something as serious as that, I'd spend every last fucking penny that I've got to prove my innocence, and nobody be getting paid off, and I'd put myself through hell day in, day out in the court to make sure I was proven innocent.
Definitely.
Anyway, Madame Tussauds.
What?
Right. So, the horror bit. Do you remember the horror House of Horror
Vaguely.
bit?
I was say it was a long time ago when I went.
Yeah, I quite liked the horror bit because it wasn't supposed to look like anybody. It was just like a torture chamber, really. Yeah. And I'm a bit of a wrong un myself in that sense.
Yeah.
But do you know how Madame Tussauds, or how it all came about?
I do, but I can't remember, and I'm not just saying that, like, but I know there was like something a bit sinister about it, wasn't there?
There was. So her real name is Marie Tussauds.
Yeah.
And she was a very, very gifted wax sculptor in France during the French Revolution.
Oh, straight away, here we go on.
Does that give you any sort of clue?
Was it kind of like, you know, like when they were beheading like the royalty and acolytes and that, was it like she was sort of like making waxes out of like the severed heads or something?
Did you know what? Not far off. I'd give that a tick. If this was a quiz, I'd give you the point.
Yeah.
So,
have a biscuit.
do you know what? I might have a little biscuit in a minute. You can eat anyway because I'm the one talking. Anyway, do you like custard creams?
Don't mind a custard
They're
cream.
really nice custard
Not
creams.
chocolate hobnob like, but custard creams are all right.
These are really nice ones. I don't know where Jimmy's getting them from at the moment. They're lovely. Anyway.
Surely custard cream's a custard cream.
No.
Is it like
no, it's a custard cream.
Custard cream.
Yeah. There's just something, they're like the vanilla in this. Oh, anyway, why the fuck are we talking about custard creams? They're really nice. That's all I'll say. I know. Anyway, she moved around royal circles.
Who's this?
Marie Tussauds! She moved around royal circles. And it was a bit dangerous, wasn't it, around that time to be friends with the royals and that. And
very much so, yeah.
yeah, she was imprisoned as well briefly during the Reign of Terror, as they call it. And very close to execution herself, you know, very close. But she wanted to prove loyalty to the new regime. And so she, some say she was forced, some say she offered to create death masks of the guillotined nobles, including Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette.
Oh,
she did their death mask.
Yeah.
They found that she was very, very good at it. And so they basically took her on to just do death masks of anybody and everybody who was aristocracy and getting just as like a little reminder, a little memento.
And she's made a killing out of it.
She's absolutely made a killing. Absolutely made a killing. Yeah. So anyway, her job, it was to create the mask, and obviously she's doing like a mould, but then to create it so it's like really, really lifelike, and almost like the person's asleep rather than dead.
I was going to say, did they all come out going?
Well, can you imagine? Sculpting the tongue hanging out. So, she preserved every detail, apparently. And because she was so good at it, she became really, really well known. And but after the Reign of Terror was over, she's obviously got this skill. What's she going to use the skill for? And she found that people were really fascinated by what she was doing because it almost like froze crime in its place, or horror, or whatever. And on this, she had this idea. And she's like, well, do you know what? I think might make a few quid out of this. And she created the Chamber of Horrors, which is the bit that I like. And public queued round the block to go and see this Chamber of Horrors. And the Chamber of Horrors was a reconstruction of murder scenes, and sometimes it was death masks of murderers who'd been and all this. So it was almost like preserving the reality of the horrors that were going on at the time, and it really inspired people. And literally, she was making a fucking killing. And as we know, Madame Tussauds then spread out around France and then beyond the. It's become one of the biggest tourist attractions, probably around Europe. I don't know how far it spreads, but I've seen them all over the place. Some of them are a bit shit, actually. The Blackpool one, even the Blackpool one.
I'm being the Blackpool one.
It's very Blackpool. No offence. If you're from Blackpool, you know what I mean. Maybe you're proud of where you'd come from, I don't know, but so it's about that. Some of them are better than others. But the one in London, I think, is really, really, really good. But yeah, that's where it all came from. It came from basically the French Revolution, her being imprisoned, trying to find a way out of her situation, befriending the right people, and basically being taken on to do these death masks. And she was really, really, really good at it, and thought, right, I'm going to make a career out of it.
It's mad, isn't it? Like, because when you think about it, like as a species, like we're a bunch of wrong'uns, aren't we?
Oh yeah.
Because, like, you know, like it started off as being like that kind of like seeing people's death masks and stuff, and it's been that popular. It's grown from that, but it just proves like we're just like fascinated by stuff. It's like, yeah, there's a question for you, right? So you know, like when they did have guillotine and stuff like that, I mean, fucking shitloads of people used to turn up to. It was like going to match, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Would you go?
Yeah.
I think I would. You know, I think there's just that curiosity, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? To see it happen. I mean, I don't know whether like it'd be like kind of like I'd want to go and see a second one, but there's definitely that like
Yeah. Well, I did a whole series, a 5-part series on executions and the history of it and all, like going right the way back to like hanging and then like the drop, not noose and stuff like that and why it came about. And I did a thing on the guillotines and all the rest of it. And the theme going right the way through from like ye olde times right up until modern times when people, I know they still spectate executions in America now, but it's very small, isn't it? It's like a handful of people, but it wasn't that long ago. There's still a full room full of reporters and everything.
Yeah.
And that's the theme running the way through, is it's always had an audience. We've always been fascinated with death. We all, and I'd say up until the late, I'd say 19th century, people were taking picnics. It was a family day out. It was literally a day out to go and see this person getting killed.
And some methods of execution are just like
the nuts.
And the fucking hell thought that up.
And there's people selling things on the side, like replica guillotines and all sorts of fucking things. Fruit to throw at people, rotten fruit. It's mad. It's absolutely mad. Anyway, we're going to move on.
Yeah.
We're going to be chatting for ages. So 16th of April, we're going to move on from death to a fish-type creature that was found alive, presumed to be extinct for 66 million years.
Okay.
You've probably seen pictures of this. Everybody's seen pictures of this. So, for millions of years, scientists believe that it was just extinct. And there has been fossils found of this fish. I can't actually say it. You might have to Google it.
It's fucking mermaids, isn't it?
No, it's not a fucking mermaid. Right. Coelacanth. Oh, fucking hell, Google it. Google this.
Right, go on.
Doesn't matter that we're recording because you love all this chaos, don't you? I'll spell it for you.
Just hang on a sec, so I've got to focus because I've put my contact lenses in because I want to look younger.
I leave my glasses on to hide the bags under my eyes. I was actually going to take my glasses off when we went out last night, but I genuinely just can't see a thing without my glasses anymore.
Right, go on, I'm focused.
You ready? Okay, so C-O-E-L.
Fucking hell, love, I'm not Rain Man, slow down. C-O-E-L.
Yeah. A-C-A-N.
T-H.
Yeah. It's a big fucking extinct fish. And I just didn't know how to say it.
Yeah, now, the frick's that?
Well, why don't you say it first, man? Look at the pictures.
How'd you say it?
Yeah.
Coelacanth.
Do you think?
It's got to be on it. It's a weird looking thing.
Coelacanth. Well, I've spelled it out for you now, so you can look it up. And I might actually share some photos, because it is a weird looking thing.
It's a weird looking fish.
Basically, to me...
It's got 2 fins.
Yeah, and all the teeth on it and everything. Big fucking eyes.
Fucking nuts, that.
Let's have a look at it.
Oh, yeah, hang on.
So we thought it was extinct. Yeah. It looks like it's in camouflage.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
That's what it tastes like.
Don't know.
I always think that when I look at a fish, you know?
Yeah. Anyway, so this was thought to have been extinct for years, gone, literally never to be seen again. An odd fossil here and there, not more than that, and then one turned up alive. And it was basically the first identified in modern times as we know it. We've known of it because of the fossils, and we've guessed what it looks like and how big it is and all that kind of thing. But we just didn't know because it's prehistoric. It shouldn't be around. And they say its scales are like armour. They're as thick as armour on this thing. Its body is heavy and it looks old. It doesn't look like a modern fish, however you'd think a modern fish should look like. And it, like you said before, its fins, they look almost like little limbs. When you see the size of the fish, they're like little limbs. And it's really fleshy. When you see the fish, it looks dead fleshy. And it's articulated, it's jointed. So it's like... evolution at some point has realised you don't really need fish like that. You don't need jointed fish. You just need to have a spine and fins. That's it. It moved really slow. And some say with like an eerie grace because it is so huge, like these little things going on. These little things going on. So it's just eerie grace. It's not just a rare fish. It's a creature that's like, they think it lives in the deep, 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 deep ocean. The part of the ocean that we haven't discovered yet. Because of the size of it, it's got this dead thick armour type scales. They think it had to have lived in like really extreme conditions where it maybe needs to hide out for a little while, or maybe like the camouflage it's got there, maybe in like really deep sea, which is like dark and green and all that kind of thing. I'm not too sure, but they reckon that it's lived in conditions that are impossible for most species to live in.
How big are they?
Huge. So they've come in all different sizes, basically. But on average, they're probably a good, like, 6-7 foot and wide. It's more wide than anything.
Looks like really,
chunky, big fish. Yeah.
I want to fight with one.
Huge, yeah. So it's not like a mammal. So it's like a whale that's like fucking meters long. It's still a fish, but it's a big fucking fish. Anyway, so this thing's being found, and then now they're thinking, is there more of these things to be found? They still haven't found any. But what they know from finding it now, is that it moves around in the dark. It doesn't need to reach for light like some fish. They'll live in the dark, but they'll go to the light every now and then. They know that these things don't have to find light at all at any point. And they think that this has possibly come to the surface looking for food, because we know that the oceans are emptying basically of food, like the way sharks are now coming in closer to shore and stuff like that. We've seen those shark attacks in Australia. There's been loads, hasn't there? Yeah. So they reckon that it's coming up just like sharks and everything, nearer to civilization and people, if you like, and coming to maybe where the ships are throwing the scraps, like fishing vessels and that, because the food is just, it is becoming extinct at the bottom of the ocean. And these things, they reckon they can live for years and years and years. It might be that they go like dormant for a little while when maybe food isn't quite as so prevalent, and then they come out again when there's food. But they think that this thing might have just been lying dormant for a little while. It can just like sleep for years and years and years and years.
That's interesting. That.
Really, really, really interesting. And the thing, it's like a ghost from like prehistoric times, basically. Yeah. And it's just mad, isn't it? After all these years, we've mapped the deep sea as far as we can go. And age of satellites, we can see all sorts of things that we didn't see before, but there's still these unusual, like beautiful, mad, weird prehistoric creatures that are still coming to the surface now. What else is down there? Have you seen the big jellyfish that light up? Would you go down there in one of them capsule things if you knew you were going to be safe?
How do you know you're going to be safe? Then people who went down in that frigging thing to have a look at the Titanic thought they were safe, didn't they? And then I don't know. I'm too scared these days. Yeah.
Do you know what? I'm like that now. When I was younger, I used to be like that. Fuck it, I'll do that. No problem at all. No problem at all. Now, I'm just a bit more aware of my mortality.
Definitely.
And I want to keep my feet firmly on the ground. Don't get me wrong, flying and all, that's fine. But being adventurous, I don't know whether I'd do a bungee jump now. And literally maybe 5 years ago I would.
Yeah, and I'm a bit like that. I'd parachute before I did the bungee jump.
Yeah, but you can only parachute now if you're tandem, so you wouldn't be on your own anyway.
No, I know that, but I mean, if you were given the option to jump out of a plane with a parachute on, or do a bungee jump, gun to your head. Well, parachute jump.
I'd do a parachute jump without a gun to my head. I've got that thing, what's it called? Into the Void, or what's it called? Now I did it on the podcast. Call the Void, where when you're at a high level, I have it over bridges, you want to jump off desperately. And I've got to sit down to stop myself from jumping. That's how bad it is for me. The draw of jumping is too much. So parachute jump, I wouldn't have a problem.
Yeah.
Bungee jumping, now of my age, I think, what if my knees dislocate? I'm at the age if I want to be in one piece when I come off the bungee jump, and I'm just thinking my knees might dislocate.
There is that, isn't there? I think with me now, it's like, I don't know what it is like, but I suppose it is like a fear on mortality and stuff like that. But you know, when you read the news and you always hear like some such and such bizarre accidents, I'm like, that's going to be me one day. That you know, I'm going to be that statistic. You're
going to be the bizarre accident. Your bike's going to be found somewhere really mad. Like, how does that happen?
And I've just been disappeared.
With piss all over the place.
Covered in piss,
Oh my God. Do you know what, the amount of people, I can't say how many people that we've been talking in general, especially obviously since it's been announced that you're taking over the club. And the amount of times it's been brought into conversation somehow about you pissing yourself.
What a way to start, what a way to start my podcast career.
I know,
piss myself on my bike.
It's funny that. It's so funny. Right, my last on this day. Who was the first James Bond?
Hang on. David Niven.
No. Do you know all the James Bonds?
He did do one though, didn't he? He did a very early version of Casino Royale.
It wasn't him.
Who was it then?
I'm going to tell you about it.
Go on.
Do you remember the other James Bonds?
George Lazenby is another one who did.
He did one.
Did he do one? Did he?
Yeah.
So so you had like Sean Connery, didn't you? Roger Moore, Timothy Dalton, Pierce Brosnan, and
Daniel Craig.
Yeah.
Has the latest James Bond been announced?
No, not yet. Something.
I thought I saw that it had been announced. I didn't read it. So, the very first James Bond, his name was Barry Nelson.
Okay.
No? Not ringing a bell?
I thought it was David Niven in Casino Royale.
No, it's not. A lot of people think it's Sean Connery or maybe it's George Lazenby, some people say. This guy was born 16th of April 1917, so he was born a long, long time ago. This is like one of them bits of trivia that you just need for a pub quiz. It's going to come up one day. It's going to come up, and do you know what would be the winning point? You're like that. Yeah. Knew it was a good reason to go on that podcast. Learn something. Anyway, he was the first Bond, and he wasn't like tuxedoed and shaken, not stirred and all that. And he wasn't actually called in the actual filming.
Fucking hell, here we go. Go on.
He wasn't actually called in the filming James Bond. He beat
This
Sean...
sounds like a reach, this, but go on.
No. He beat Sean Connery by 8 years.
Yeah.
It was 1954, long before Bond became the polished cinematic version that we know now. He did an American television programme aired live of Casino Royale. Yeah. And it was like a part of an anthology series called Climax. I mean, that's just, what the fuck? And Barry Nelson played Bond in Casino Royale. And it was live. It was live, filmed on TV. But it wasn't very good. And the actual screening of it was canned for a little while. It disappeared, but it has actually come back up. And you can see it. It is The Secret Agent, created by Ian Fleming. So it's not like some other version. It is the Ian Fleming version. And it was rewritten at the time. And he was an American intelligence operative called Jimmy Bond.
Go on.
Jimmy Bond, yeah?
Go on.
He sounds less like a deadly spy now, doesn't he? And more like some bloke that turns up to fix your boiler. But the whole thing was produced and performed live on TV. And there was like layers of tension and chaos and all the way you do in the regular James Bond. But it just has this Americanism that you can imagine, the Jimmy Bond, almost like James Dean type thing. You know, it is Casino Royale. They are playing around the table at one point, and rather than being like a tuxedo and like dead suave, he's just like with the cigarette, proper Jimmy Bond. It's just, I'd say it's not bad, but it's not good either. It's typical for what you'd imagine of American TV at that time, live, some dodgy bits in it, some fluffed lines and all that. But it did pave the way. It was the first blueprint of the character, and they were almost like testing the water with the character. And this showed the whole writing and production team what it shouldn't be. Yeah. Basically, and that's why it was just pulled and stored away for a little while. But the guy did actually go on to do quite a lot of other things later on. So even though this flopped, he really enjoyed doing it. He was the forgotten Bond, and he didn't really bring it up very often. He didn't bring it up very often. He was almost like, we're not going to talk about that because I don't think he was like hugely proud of it. But I think it was his first live television thing, so he cut his teeth on it. Yeah. I don't think it was a great script either, from what I've seen little bits of it. But it did form the blueprint for how it went on. And Ian Fleming was then like, yeah, he's not going to be American. He's going to be British intelligence. He's going to be suave.
Yeah,
and Casino Royale, obviously, went on to be an amazing film, but years later. So he cut his teeth on it, but it didn't come out until, obviously, decades and decades later. So I don't know why. I wonder if maybe, do you know what, we're going to leave Casino Royale for a little while, because some people might remember the shit version we did on American TV years ago. So we're going to bring some of the boss ones out first. And when everybody's forgotten or they've died since that one came out, we're going to renew it and do another version of it.
There is definitely a version, though, where David Niven plays, I'm sure of it.
Well, do you know what? Look it up, everybody.
Look it up. Who's your favourite Bonds?
I would have said Pierce Brosnan, because I thought he was really good. But no, he's got to be Daniel Craig.
Do you reckon?
Because he's just rough and he's broke.
Oof.
He's broken. All the other Bonds...
He just likes them in them blue shorts when he come out the season, yeah.
It's the ice blue eyes, you know?
Yeah.
He's just got them eyes that look into your soul. And I'd just love to fuck him everywhere.
Blimey.
They're used to it.
I've got a soft spot for Roger Moore, you know.
He's a bit cheeky. He's a bit spoofy. For me.
It was like you just like the goose and the fit bears at the end with like a
goose and the fit.
You know. It was like standard Bond.
So for our international listeners, goosing is scouse for sex, for shagging,
made
fucking.
love to the attractive lady who's co-starring.
Goosing sounds a bit more trashy, but I love it.
It's an education, what can I say?
I don't think Bond would goose.
No, he wouldn't.
Bond would seduce.
He'd have like candles and like a proper like bottle of champagne and all that shit.
Well, Roger Moore would.
Yeah,
but Daniel Craig wouldn't.
No, Daniel Craig would fucking throw a chippy tea at you and then bend it over the table.
Or shag you in the lift.
Shag you in the lift.
No, when there's cameras.
No, when there's cameras. Because he's an edgy fucker.
He is.
Yeah.
So Sean Connery, no, for me. He was great and all that. But he was also still quite polished.
But the thing is, though, Sean Connery, everyone goes, oh, Sean Connery was the best one, wasn't he? Like, but you got to be a bit...
No, he was too polished for me. Roger Moore was very 60s, wasn't he? He's very much of his time, all very suave, and his hair, nothing was out of place. He never did anything wrong. And if there was, like, you know, something didn't go quite to plan, it was more like moments of peril rather than... fuck, the whole world's going to end, you know. And then I liked, who was the one? Timothy Dalton. Which film did he do? He did...
He only did a couple, didn't he, Timothy Dalton?
Can't remember. But I quite liked him. I liked Pierce Brosnan because he's beautiful. Beautiful.
He's a good-looking fella, like, isn't he?
But he almost took it back to the suave a little bit. Daniel Craig is basically James Bond, as you read him as a character. He's clever.
Yeah.
He's a bad lad.
Yeah.
And he's good at what he does because he's a bit of a bad lad.
Yeah.
He fights hard and dirty. The real James Bond. He's hard and dirty.
Like he makes love to ladies.
Yeah, yeah. Look, and...
I'm smiling.
He likes to goose them.
Yeah, he fucking proper gooses them.
He probably gooses them in the lift.
Yeah.
There's just something about Daniel Craig, and so whoever the next person is that comes along, I want them to keep the roughness of Daniel Craig, because he makes mistakes. He gets knocked out. In Casino Royale, he's sitting there with his bollocks dangling through a seat as Thingio is wielding a chain under the seat.
He did give it a grittiness, like, didn't he? Do you know what I mean? Daniel Craig, I mean, it's quite... Because it was going a bit like... These are shit, these now, aren't these James Bond films? Like, you'd watch, like, the Sean Connery and the Roger Moore ones and stuff, because it was, like, a bit nostalgic and that, you know what I mean? Like, but it definitely needed, like, freshening up.
Yeah, it did.
In that way, I think.
It did. I just... I want him to keep the grit, the darkness, and the brokenness of him. That really came through with Daniel Craig, that he's broke. And when they got him, he went down. I mean, he jumped up, but he looked like he'd been fucking hit. Whereas Roger Moore, he just go...
Yeah, and if he got a smack, he'd be a bit like...
Yeah, he'd pull the face. Yeah,
and then just fucking leather everywhere.
Yeah, that's it.
In a tuxedo.
Yeah, yeah. So, Barry Nelson, he went on... Where am I here? Barry Nelson went on to play the manager at the Overlook Hotel, wasn't it? In The Shining.
Shit, was that him?
That was him.
No way.
Yeah. He did a couple of other little things as well, but I haven't wrote them down. But that was the one that I thought you'd remember, yeah, you'd know. That's why I brought that one up. But he did do some other little bits and bobs as well. So he didn't like go off screen completely. He did do quite a lot of other things, but he just canned that one.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, we'll just forget about that one. Yeah.
Weren't me, governor.
Right, so I'm going to move on. I'm going to have a little swig of me drink, though, first.
Yeah, go treat yourself, love, have a biscuit.
Treat myself, though.
Yeah.
Nice to have a little biscuit, you know, not really have much to eat. Jimmy's hopefully bringing me in a bussy. So,
What bussy you getting you?
Don't know, a surprise. If there isn't much choice, he'll give me like a chicken salad.
Like a supermarket bussy? Yeah.
Yeah. Right, so I'm not going to do a dangly bit, only because it's now 40 minutes in.
Now.
And I want to give this a little bit of room.
Okay.
Because it's something that both of us can identify with.
Right.
Okay, you're looking at me all quizzed. I'm never going to say
I'm
anything.
just intrigued.
Oh, okay. You're not going to be backed into a corner. It's not going to be uncomfortable. It's a BDSM mismatch.
Fucking hell, I'm all over this then, go on.
Because, obviously, your good lady wife is heavily into BDSM.
Yeah.
Right, your foot could be in my view.
Oh, right, sorry about that. I'm just conscious of the fact I've crossed my legs more times than Kenny Everett today, like, so.
Oh my God, Kenny Everett crossing his legs.
All for the best possible taste.
Oh, again, if you haven't seen it, look up Kenny Everett.
Yeah.
Cross-dressing, and he does the cross-leg thing. It's so funny, isn't it?
It's been brilliant.
So, your good lady wife, she's heavily into BDSM. Obviously, she's been on here.
Just a bit.
She's been on here. We talk about it all the time. And you're not so much into BDSM. You've been smacked around a little bit.
Yeah.
And in the early days, you were like, no. And you put yourself up for things just because. Yeah. Now you might have found a few little things that you quite enjoy, but I don't think you would call yourself heavily into BDSM and a fetishist, would you?
Fuck no.
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 So, up until maybe just after COVID, Jim was the same.
Yeah.
So he was just like you. He's got a missus who's a professional dominatrix, been into it for donkey's years, evil through and through, obviously only in BDSM. And Jimmy was not at all.
Yeah.
You know, lover, not a fighter, all that kind of thing. And then he found his little BDSM shoes, and he's very much into it now. But we've had, 18 years of me being into it and him not.
Yeah.
And you've got this similar sort of thing, obviously not over as much length of time, but you're in a loving relationship, you're married, everything's great, but she's got this aspect of her life that you're not into. I'm not saying that you're not part of, because obviously you come to the club, you run the club, and you see it all the time, but it's not something that you can identify with, that you go, I fucking love whacking people around. So Jimmy was the same. So I want to talk over this a little bit, only because there'll be people out there who maybe they themselves really want to explore this, but their partner's not into it.
Yeah, no, I mean, let me be your spirit guys. It's something like it's something like
like that.
Oh, no, cheesy was that, but it's like it's something that, like, yeah, it's something that's quite sort of close to my heart, and it's something I find myself talking about quite a bit, because it's like, it's like working in the club and that, and people say to her, oh, did you get into it and all? I was like, oh, like me, who's now my wife, was working here and stuff, and they're like, oh, what does she do? So she's actually a professional dominatrix. And, I think what you find is that when, like, one person's into kink in such a way that they are, like, similar to yourself, like where they're a mistress and whatever, the person, like, as in me, that whoever's talking to you makes a kind of judgment that, like, oh, bet you fucking get shit, you get handcuffed to raise aces with a bowl
Jim
of
the same thing, and he's like fuck.
And I'm like, no. Is it like, she's got, like, she has, like, people who she does certain types of kink with, and that's great, crack on, do you know what I mean? Because, because it's just not, I mean, I mean, she fucking orders me around in the house, like, but I mean, that's being married, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's...
Hate to say it, folks, but
it is, fellas, if you're not married and you're thinking about it, that's the reality of marriages. You
just
are
consider
gonna get
it carefully.
around. So get used to that. But like it's I think people have like this sort of an assumption that like, oh, because one person's into it, the other one's into it, and I'm really not.
No. And you know what? You have tried bits and bobs.
I've tried. I mean, you give me an Iron once, didn't you? Do you know what I mean?
No. That was for a game, basically.
Yeah, but you still...
I wouldn't normally do that.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, I'm just saying, like, okay, I might have used the wrong term.
That'd put you up off for life, that.
I might not use the right terminology, but you like administered whatever to me on that night. Do you know what I mean? But
the idea was that you were getting... Can I go into detail? Okay, no. Something was happening, and I had to beat you like mad.
I was getting a blowy at the same time. It was like a competition, and it's like...
Okay, I didn't want to divulge just in case.
There was nothing happening.
And I was beating you to stop you from...
Yeah, and you did a good job.
I did.
But like, I have like gone from being like... I mean, well, initially, from going like... I'm not going to a fucking swingers club to actually going.
That'd be first night.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? To being like, kink's not for me and all this, that and the other, and to being like, well, you know what? I'll have a go. And I think I have tried a few things. Do you know, I think I have tried a few things, and it's just not for me.
No.
The only thing of like that I do quite like is like candle waxing. I quite like that. But other than that...
Is that receiving or giving?
I won't do things to people.
Won't you? Why?
No, and this is another thing that I was going to come on to, is that like the BDSM world is totally different, like swinging, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's like two very distinct things.
Very different.
And it's like, you know, there's so much like etiquette to it, like, and I find like that even now, like after such a long time, like working in the club and stuff, is that you know, like you got to be quiet around the scene and stuff. And like, I'm not the quietest of people, do you know what I mean?
No.
And the amount of times where I've had to say, shut up, and that, I'm like, what? You're just talking, do you know what I mean? But there's a lot of etiquette to it, and I think the thing is, though, is like there's so many, you know, there's got to be a lot of negotiation in BDSM, and a lot of like making sure you're using safe words and stuff like that, but things can still go wrong.
Yeah.
And like, I always say that like, I've had a go with things in BDSM, but it's always been me on the receiving end. However, I worry that like, if I was to sort of, I don't know, say for instance, Sarah said like, oh, will you flog me with this? Or not so much Sarah, but someone else who I don't necessarily have that connection with, and something goes wrong, I'd be fucking mortified. And I'd like to think that they would be like, I know you didn't mean that, but would they? And I think to myself, I'm not interested in it enough to explore that side of things, to put myself in the position where, and I don't really want to hit someone. I mean, you know, and I've said this as well, like the only time I've ever had to hit someone is where I've been in a position where I fucking had to, do you know what I mean?
In a bar brawl.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and it just doesn't interest me enough to sort of want to explore that, and for something to potentially go wrong. But you know, I knew Sarah was a dominatrix even before I'd actually met her in person.
Yeah.
But, you know, people like have like this sort of like, oh, so your Mrs. a professional dominatrix then, like, oh, so like, you know, people like think there's like sex involved in it as well. Yeah. And there's not in BDSM.
I get that a lot.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's...
Yeah, I mean, they can be.
Yeah, they can
it can be sexual and sensual, but for most people, it's not.
But that's a negotiation, isn't it? You know what I mean? But don't just assume like because someone's into BDSM, they're going to be like shagging around and stuff like that, because it's
not at all.
It's two totally different things.
As a professional dominatrix, there was never anything sexual in my practice ever. I always kept my BDSM completely separate to like swinging. I didn't want the two to cross. I wanted there to be a difference between the two. Yeah. And I don't enjoy giving BDSM, whatever it is, in a sexy way. I'm not good at it. I just don't enjoy it. I like being a little bit more serious, and I want to concentrate rather than being sexy, because what I do takes like a lot of concentration. I don't want to have to think about how I look and, you know, being the end result being a shag. Yeah. You know. My BDSM is very similar to Sarah's, obviously. You know, I've worked with Sarah for quite a long time, so quite similar. And it's not sexy. And people have the assumption that, oh, right, okay, so you open your legs every session. No,
That's,
never.
That's what I mean. But
Never.
like, people who don't know it think that, and it's like, it's not like that, you
No,
know?
and like going back to what you said before, people assuming that you're into BDSM and she beats the shit out of you because
Yeah.
she's a professional dominatrix. And there's been, obviously Jim's into it now, and there's been a few times since he's been into it, and people have gone, oh, you're the one, you're getting chained up and getting your ass slapped. And it's like, quite the contrary, other way round, actually. You know?
But that's what I mean. It's like, I mean, I'm saying all this now. Like, I mean, you know, maybe I might have a Jimmy epiphany or something and get into it. I don't know. But as things stand, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not for me, and that's all right. I've been asked like, oh, you know, you must be a boss, Tom, and all this, and I'm like, no, I don't do that, love.
Boss shagger though. Top shagger badge.
It's all about that. When I don't get cramp.
I believe you've been in demand lately.
Yeah, well, I mean,
You've got a bit red.
I
Oh.
do get a badge, you know what I mean?
Let me just waft you.
Yeah, that's. I don't know. I like just like. What can I do? I can't. I like.
He's lost it.
You know what I mean? I get dead shy around stuff like that. Like, honestly, I don't know why. Like, but
Okay, we'll move on from that because you've just suddenly gone. Oh,
no, I don't know. But
what popular!
It's like, no, but it's like, I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's nice to like. It's nice to get the attention.
To be fancied, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It
but
is.
like, I just go like, oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you do, a bit.
Yeah.
You just did.
Such a kid.
And you might never get into BDSM, and like you say, it's okay for two partners to have different interests.
Yeah.
And I don't know, what advice would we be given to people if somebody, a guy, let's say a guy, because obviously you can relate to it, his wife suddenly says, you know what, I've had this interest in BDSM and it's something that I want to explore. You know, what are we going to say to these guys? Because then does it mean they're going to have to go to a club because he's not into it? You know, so obviously we'd be advising to go to a munch and all that. But how is he going to, like, not feel getting pushed out because she's doing something that he's not? Because don't forget, you run the club. And so you're part of the scene, you know, within the club. What if somebody isn't on the scene and their wife wants to go to a BDSM venue to, you know, spread the wings and start exploring? What advice are we going to give to that guy to reassure him?
Go with them.
We might not want to.
Okay, yeah, I can understand that, but like, I mean, I suppose I'm sort of like at townhouse. when you come to like townhouse, it's like it's you know. Again, you're going to have this conception that you're going to go and someone's going to hit you with someone. No one's going to hit you with something unless you ask them to.
Yeah. Or drag it into a room by your hair. That's not going to happen either unless you ask them. Or
negotiate with them to do it. You find that, you know, so that my advice would be, like, if you know, was either say crack on with it, love, or if you're curious and you want to be reassured, is go along with them. Go along. And just treat it as like I'm gonna go with me missus or me fella or whoever's interested in it and stuff. You know, coming to townhouse, like, you can go there and just be social. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you know, it's not like you're gonna walk in and there's gonna be like people like, you know, friggin' like cutting each other and stuff like that. It's
or expecting anything of you. That is not.
Or having an expectation of you to do, and it's like, you know, I mean. On the swinging side of things, I always say to people when they come for the first time, like, you know, don't think you're going to be under any pressure to sort of have to go upstairs, or, you know, you can just stay down here, be social and have a drink and that. You can I've had some boss nights.
I've had some great social nights in the club.
Last couple, I mean, I've been like doing a bit of a Cinderella the last few times and been going in and just like getting off by 12 o'clock after I've done a little bit of karaoke and that, you know what I mean? But like, you can just go and be social and like, you know, that might be your thing where it's like you'll go the once and be like, do you know what, I've seen it and it's a nice place and all that, people, and the people are nice and what have you, and I'm quite happy for you to, you know, carry on exploring that, you know, like, you know, obviously they would talk about it and stuff like that, or actually, do you know what, like, next time you go, I'll come and I'll just have a little drink and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's some people on our team like that. His husband came to the club for just a look around on an open evening with, so I think, so he could see the club was all right. And he was like, I don't know what the conversation they had, but you know, I can imagine him like, well, do you know what? It's great. So I'm more than happy for you to go there on your own.
Yeah.
And obviously he does. And I'm sure there's loads of other people over the years that I can, off the top of my head, whose partners have come and they've gone, yeah, do you know what? It's great. I'm happy for you to go there. And if the person who's into BDSM doesn't want to go to an event straight away, then there's munchers that are often in pubs and bars, which are more social, so the partner can go along and, you know, see what it's all about. What sort of people is she going to be mixing with?
Exactly, yeah.
You know, lots of neuro-spicy people is the answer to that.
Yeah.
Massive neuro-spicy scene,
Yeah. As I say, it's okay for people to be different, and it's like, you know, it's, you know, say we've got the, like, say I've got the difference where I like being out on my bike and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's just BDSM, man. That's
well, it's the thing is though,
be safe doing it.
To us though, to us it is just BDSM, but to people out there who don't really know much about it, and they see, you know, the dominatrix, the stereotype, and the whips and the chains and the pain and all that kind of thing. To people out there, it's not just BDSM, is it?
It's not like, but I'm open kinds of. I mean, I know I went like I proper went on one then, like, but I'm open like what like I sort of said there. Like, if anyone is in that position where they're like, shit, like, she's getting interested in stuff that's a bit spicy and I don't know how to handle it and stuff like that. Hopefully what I've said today, it hopefully helps you a bit. If anyone, I mean, it doesn't look like if anyone like writes in or anything like that, but if you want to ask me anything, like, just, you know.
You're going to be Lady Lobotomy now?
It's not the advice will be any good, like, but you know what I mean. But you know,
but you do yourself disservice. You are in quite a unique situation where your partner's into something that you're not, and it's something that everybody out there thinks is quite extreme. And I think you put yourself across really well there, to be honest with you. And the main thing to get across for those who are worried, BDSM, you do get up close and personal with people. You are going to put your hands on a stranger's skin.
Yeah.
But it's not in a sexual way, it's in a caring way. I'm doing this to you and I need to put my hands on you because that's my way of checking in with you.
Yeah.
You know, and there are people that bring sexual elements in, but she doesn't need to, or, you know, I don't need to, you don't need to, whatever.
Yeah, it's all like negotiated, isn't it? Yeah. What I'm saying, it's like...
The negotiation, it starts at home in this particular instance. If he's not into it or the other partner's not into it, the negotiation starts there and it doesn't go any further until both parties are happy with it, basically.
Yeah.
And then obviously then there's a further negotiation when you're in the club or wherever you're going to go and whoever you're playing with. You know, it carries on from there. But the negotiation must start at home.
Yeah.
And if at any time the other partner's not comfortable, then you've just got to stop and talk about it, and you don't go on, carrying on your journey until your partner's all right with what you're doing. So I wonder, this is not in my notes, but I wonder then, let's say it's somebody who's really that into it and they've said to their partner, you know, in my previous relationship, I was really, really into this. It was a very important part of my life. I've obviously not brought it up with you because I know that you're not really into it, but it's something that I want to explore again. What if the partner says, I'm really not happy with that? Despite them reassuring, and it might be something that, you know, I don't want to see my partner being violent, or, you know, I don't really want my partner to be going and touching other people's bare skin just to make sure that they're okay, or I don't really agree with BDSM, or I don't really understand it enough. I don't want to understand it. It's just fucking weird. Some people we know have these opinions. What if there's somebody in a new relationship and they're like, yeah, I'm not happy with that?
I don't know. I mean, I suppose I was really lucky in that, like, I knew about, like I say, I knew about Sarah with this even before I'd met her in person. So just to give you a bit of background, like, we met on online dating. So, like, we were messaging on, like, it was like Plenty of Fish, you know what I mean, back in the day, and that messaging on that. And then it was kind of like getting to the source, like, oh, you know, do you want to go for a drink type of thing, like, meet up and we'll have a drink and stuff like that. And like, the odd times where I did sort of meet like go for actual dates, I'd always like sort of have a little phone call with them first, just to sort of, you know, just sort of like
scope it out,
like, did they seem all right, you know what I mean? And she told me, like, like, not like the first thing she said, but she said, I do have to tell you something, like, that might make you feel a bit differently about meeting up and that. And when she said, like, I'm a professional dominatrix, and I was like, Oh, really? I wasn't expecting it, but I thought, you know what? I quite like that sort of... Because I could have gone, you're all right, girl, fuck that, like, and put the... But I thought, I quite like that honesty, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, because I knew nothing about it, knew nothing about BDSM. I thought, like, being kinky was like giving a bird a slap on the arse and stuff like that, do you know what I mean? Get on me. But I was quite lucky in that sense, in that I had that option straight away.
Yeah.
But I appreciated that honesty. But I think for like people like whereas like maybe being sprung on, like you say, like where it's like, oh no, it's fucking disgusting and all that, is like it, think about when your mum put your tea in front of you and you didn't like the look of it and then you did like it. Think about that.
But it must be hard because some people do have these misconceptions, don't they? We talked about it before about the sex side and all the rest of it. And if you're in that situation, I'd be advising a truthful conversation. But sometimes even at the end of that conversation, you might not get the answer that you want, because there are people out there who genuinely are just not interested in understanding. They just don't like the idea. No. There's a lot of discrimination out there. And in that situation, I'd have to be thinking about how much I'm into this. Yeah. And is it something that I'm willing to give up? Because there's a lot of people, including me, they say once you're into it, you can't give it up.
Yeah.
It's too good. And don't get me wrong, I don't do it all the time. Now, when I do, I love it. I absolutely love it. I've got a scene planned for the 1st of May. Really, really looking forward to doing it.
And when was you going to tell me about it?
What are you doing to me? Yeah, could I give it up completely? If Jim ever said to me, I can't even think of a reason because there wouldn't be, but if he ever said to me, you really can't do that anymore, my marriage is worth much more to me than BDSM. And I wouldn't resent him for it because I've had a long career and I've done a lot. If it was something at the beginning of our relationship, before there was like rings and love and all that, I'd probably actually it's quite a big thing for me to give up. At this stage of my relationship, if you're not even willing to listen to what I'm saying, then I think we're just incompatible, soz, and move on.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? It's... I don't know. All I'd say is, look, it's like it seems scary BDSM, and even now some of it still scares the shit out of me. Do you know what I mean? And it's not, and I know it's not for me. A lot of it, but I think one thing to sort of say is, like, if you did have another half who was interested in it, is go along with them to a munch, go along with them to a club. I mean, I remember the first time I went to the club. I mean, it was a swinging night. But I was like, fucking hell, I'm going to get turned into a lampshade or something here, do you know what I mean? And it just was not like that. You're more than like, I'm sure like other clubs around the country are similar to Townhouse where, you can just go and have a drink and talk to people, no one's going to hit you unless you want them to.
I remember our first conversation when you first came in, and I think Sarah was on the desk, wasn't she? Was she on the desk? And you came in just to visit, you dropped in.
She was definitely there because I didn't come on my own. I would not have come on my own.
I think she's either on the desk or she was in doing something, and you came in to meet her or to see her or whatever. And I was actually on reception on the guest side of it when you walked in. I can't remember if Sarah was with you now or not. And we were chatting away. I thought, oh, he's really, really nice. Do you remember what I said?
Did you give us the like USA speech or something?
I did. Yeah. I did. I said something along the lines of, not quite verbatim, but something along the lines of, Sarah's been through a lot. If you dare hurt her, I will hurt you.
Yeah, I do remember something along them lines. And
I think I stared you deadly in the eye and said it very, very seriously, and then just went, right then, so we've got that one out the way. I've said it now. Nice to meet you. Yeah. Something along those lines it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
But now, look at you now. I bet you're glad you walked into the club that first time. And
You went in to use the bog.
And a clean bog it was.
Yeah. Scrupulously clean.
Yes, absolutely. So we're going to move on. We're going to do a little Lady Lobotomy. An advice thing. Do you remember Lady Lobotomy? Yeah. And I think I know what I'm going to say to this, but I'm going to run it by you. Dear Lady Lobotomy, my partner wants my phone passcode, live location, and keeps saying that in a healthy relationship there shouldn't be privacy if there's nothing to hide. I get that they've been hurt before, so part of me wants to reassure them, but it's starting to make me feel watched rather than trusted. If I'm slow replying or turn my location off, it becomes a thing. And now I'm questioning whether this is normal or the start of some kind of controlling behaviour. So, for me, this is a red flag. Personal experience of this. My ex very much kept a close eye on me. We didn't have a mobile phone early on in our relationship, obviously, because we weren't around. But he still found ways of keeping tabs, stalked me a little bit. So for me, this is a red flag, and I know exactly why, but what have you got anything that you want to say on that one?
I'm with you, I don't like it.
Okay, so for me, a phone is like somebody's diary. And I haven't got anything on my phone that shouldn't be on my phone, but it's still personal to me. I've got messages on there to friends and gym or whatever. I've got work stuff on there. My calendar of what I've been doing and what I'm going to be doing. Pictures of nights out and, film and all that kind of thing. Lots of things that probably, if somebody got hold of it, they could probably find the ins and outs of my life, my bank details, my FetLife profile.
Yeah.
You could find everything out about me just by picking up my phone. It mirrors me. And so if somebody wanted access to my phone, they gain access to every little bit of my life. And, if it was something like, if it was Jim and I was incapacitated, I'd be like, Jim, have my phone, love. That's my passcode. You need to do things for me. And there's been times he's like, look, pick my phone up to look at the time, and something's happened. I'm like, just do my thing on it. Or I have a new computer. If you ever need to get into it, my passcode is. I've got nothing to hide. But in this particular instance, this feels unhealthy because it's it's not like handing the phone over and giving them the passcode to just have a look at a picture. This is somebody who wants to know where they are. They want to know their location, the live location at any point, so they can just look and go, right, they are where they're supposed to be. They want to get into their phone probably to have a look at messages.
Yeah.
So, regardless of the fact that this person's been hurt before, this is a new relationship. And if this person can't put this to bed, the hurt that they've had in their previous relationship, this repeated behaviour is going to be damaging.
Yeah, definitely.
And therefore they shouldn't be in a relationship yet because they haven't put right what was basically done wrong to them last time. Whatever it was, I don't know what it is, because it says, I get that they've been hurt before, so somebody's cheated on them at some point before.
Definitely something's happened.
So they're not ready to be in a relationship yet because they are doubting the person in the new relationship. And this, for me, I'm really sorry to say, it's anonymous. I don't know who you are. But this is
just a genuine lassie.
Yeah.
You need to.
Yeah, all my Lady Lobotomies are.
Yeah.
The genuine.
You need to.
That's why I don't do one every episode. I've always got one, to be honest. Or one that is suitable for that time. So for me, this is a massive red flag. I would be questioning this relationship. This is only going to get worse. It'll start at access to the phone. Then it will be, no, I'm not happy with you going there. Then it'll be I'm not happy with going to that place with that person. Yeah. They'll start controlling everything. Then it'll go down to, why are you wearing that? Because you don't wear that when you go out with me. This is all personal experience, I'm afraid.
This is
where it starts.
Yeah, it's like, it's this, but then what's it going to lead on to?
They're trying to control you through your phone. Yeah. Once they've done that, if there's something slightly not quite right on the phone, they're like, that message sounds a little bit flirty.
Yeah.
Where's that going to go? If you say to that person, I'm just going to nip down into New Brighton to Morrison's, but you go to Morrison's and they haven't got the vodka that you want. So you go across to Wallasey instead, you go to the Asda instead.
Yeah.
And, they're watching on you. Well, why? They said they were going to New Brighton. Why are they now going over there? And when you come in, they make your life hell.
Yeah.
They do. I've been there. They'll make your life hell. As soon as they've got that kind of access to your movements and who you speak to and what you do, it becomes obsessive. And then when they're not getting the right answers or something doesn't seem quite right, they'll use it against you. And before you know it, you won't have a phone.
This is something me and Sarah have been talking about a little bit lately. So, you know, location setting, sharing like your Google Maps or whatever. So she was like, you don't share your location, do you? And I was like, huh?
No.
And she was like, why not? And I was like, because I just don't see why you need to know where I am, like, when you want to, when. And she's like, yeah, but I wouldn't be checking it all the time and stuff. And I was like, but why do you want to know? I'm not going anywhere it shouldn't be. I said, I might go and have a crafty little pint. Do you know what I mean?
But you tend to tell us anyway, in the groups and everything.
On the spare of the moment, I might go and have a pint, you know what I mean? That is like, that's the most dodgy thing I do, do you know what I mean? But then she was sort of saying, well, you know, when I fucked off to Wales and went climbed up an hill or something like that, I forgot to tell her I was going. She went there, I forgot to tell her I was going. She was like, what about if something happens, I wouldn't know? And I was like, yeah, fair enough. And then she was like, what about like if you were on your bike and you fell off, like, and I was like, yeah, that's a good point. And then I thought, well, do you know what? I actually haven't got anything to hide.
Yeah.
So I'll allow you to see my location. But I think, and I mean, nothing's happened since then. It's just been like, yeah, sounds happy days. I mean, you know, but I think if it ever did get to a situation where it was like, what are you doing there? Or I thought you were going such and such, I'd just turn it off.
Yeah.
I'd literally just go, do you know what? I'm just going to turn it off then.
Oh, we didn't have anything like that, location things. For one, Jim wouldn't actually know how to find my location on the phone anyway. I think for practical reasons, like if you're going to go up a mountain, you really should be telling your wife that you're going up a mountain.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like I haven't told her I'm going to Asda. Oh, shit. You know, I didn't tell her I was going up a mountain in Wales.
Yeah.
So, you know, I can see where she's coming from.
Oh, wow, yeah, defo,
really.
yeah. Definitely. And at the end of the day, it's one of them. I've got nothing to eyes, but it's like, it's one of them, isn't it, where it's like, just seems a little bit intrusive.
Yeah, it does. But I can see the practicality wise.
But babe, my location settings are still on.
So there you go. You can stalk him.
Yeah, if you want some.
Covertly.
In Vicky's.
No shit. So to this person, we're both in agreement here.
Definitely.
All of this behaviour is a red flag.
Yeah.
And it won't stop.
Yeah.
It won't stop. So this person hasn't healed from their previous trauma themselves, from the previous relationship, and they're bringing it into a new relationship.
Yeah.
It's going to bring you down. It's going to change you fundamentally. You'll change your behaviour. You'll change, you'll filter what you say to this person. You'll change your relationship with other people. You might not go out quite so much with the other person. It's a slippery slope.
It's definitely not something you can just sweep under the rug and go like, oh, you know what, it might be all right. It needs addressing.
There's nothing wrong with this person, the one who's got the issues. Go and get some help, go and get some talking therapy and stuff like that to talk through the issues and why they're behaving in this way.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we're in no way. Well, I'm not saying like you need to fucking write off. Do you know what I mean, or there or whatever. But like this isn't something that's just gonna like.
It's not going to go
away in a week or something that needs resolving.
If this was a brand new relationship, I'd be like, stop it now.
Yeah.
Before you get invested, before there's L words thrown around, stop. Just leave, go, and thank your lucky stars.
Yeah.
You know. However, it sounds like my partner a little bit more invested.
Yeah.
So, you know, you need to give it a go, don't you, and do some work on it and give the person an opportunity, you know, through talk and therapy, either on their own or between them, you know, both of them, it could be both, and see where it goes. But if you're not getting the answers and the actions, if they're not changing, then this is something that needs to be reconsidered, the whole thing. But I think, you know, definitely getting some support and help in the first instance. But, you know, is the question was, is this a red flag? Yes, it is.
Oh, yeah, it's a red flag, yeah.
Yes, it is 100%, and it's not going to go away.
It.
Don't ignore it. Please do something about it. And if your partner isn't willing to have the conversation over it, or they've become a little bit over defensive, that's a big red flag as well, isn't it? They need to have an open conversation about it.
I want to be honest with you. Sarah knows this only too well. Like, I can find it hard to talk about things sometimes. Like, but you've got to get there somehow. Like, and it can be like because you're embarrassed about it. You know, you're embarrassed about like sort of feeling in a certain way, or you just find the words hard to. But you've both got to find a way to work together to be able to, you know, because you might sort of ask her in the first instance, and maybe there is defensiveness or like sense of embarrassment, and I can kind of relate to that. But you've got to, it's got to happen.
It has.
It's got to happen.
It's just going to be a downward spiral otherwise.
Yeah, it's got to happen
you know?
somehow, like, do you know what I mean?
If you comply with this sort of thing, then the other things you need to comply to will start piling on.
Yeah.
The other demands will be made. So, but if you're willing, if you love this person, you're willing to put the effort in, I don't think it's irredeemable.
You gotta have a go, but you can't ignore it.
You can't ignore it.
Don't ignore
and if you
it.
don't get the answers you want after trying, then I think you need to reconsider the whole thing, basically. Right, before we go...
I hope that helps.
I hope it helps. You're being very good today, the advice and stuff. Really good.
Being, like, proper, like...
Yeah, I'm impressed.
Like an agony uncle, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I'm giving my voice a rest for once.
Just wait for all the emails to come through. How do you handle your bed soon, Peter? I said, I'm like, lads, I'm going to come in.
I'm going to have to give you the name, aren't I? She can't be Lady Lobotomy. Anyway,
Agony Andy.
Agony Andy, though. I don't know about that, the agony bit. That's implying. Right, so we're going to finish off with a fetish factoid.
Okay, go on.
It's a very short one. You might know. You can guess, probably. Do you know?
The Muffin Man. I fucking get out, mate.
There you go. That's it. We're ended. So, do you know?
The Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man? The origins of dungeon furniture.
Judging by our dungeon furniture, I'd say it comes from medieval times.
Mostly, yes, it does. So it wasn't a trick question. A lot of dungeon furniture does come from,
First imagine two swords, one and now this one.
This is it, I know, yeah, fucking on it. So stocks, pillories, that kind of thing. St Andrew's Cross is actually a religious thing, the St Andrew's Cross. But it also comes from school punishment. So the caning in school, bent over desks, that kind of thing, leaning against walls and blackboards and that kind of thing. The school desks, very much. We've got two school desks in the club. And there's lots of people over the years that have asked to be bent over the school desks for memory, that kind of thing, reliving a memory. So it comes from that, but also fetish, Victorian fetish circles, which often overlapped with mysticism as well. So like your seance circles and all that. The two worlds often came hand in hand. And so the Victorian fetish circles, you did see a lot of gothic, candles and chains and that kind of thing to set the seance scene. And because the two collided, if the same people were into fetish as well, they'd bring in the candles, the chains, and obviously some of the equipment were throwbacks from punishment from beyond Victorian times, medieval times. And so in these Victorian fetish circles, they brought in this sort of equipment to create a theatrical scene. And sometimes in the Victorian seances, even if they weren't taking part in BDSM, they might have some of the equipment to get into people's heads straight away, a suggestiveness. So if they were saying they were in contact with blah blah, and the air was cool with flickering candles and some torturous things around and about, I think it would make somebody believe and connect with the person who's leading the seance because of the theatrical scene that they've set. So in these times, these two worlds collided, and they both brought elements of like this medieval torture time, and they were using it as props. They were using all this equipment as props to create this sort of scene. And there was I've brought this person in before in the 1800s, a dominatrix called Teresa Berkeley. And she was, they think, the first, if not one of the first, dominatrix. And she she designed and had built the Berkeley horse, which we think is one of the first custom-made, designed, built BDSM equipment pieces. It looks like, it's like two sides like that. It's got like restraints on either side. The person leans against it. It's basically a whipping frame, and she designed this herself and had it custom made. There's actually Berkeley horses around in some museums and that. Excuse me. So that was the first custom-made piece. But before that, it did come from medieval times and these like seance circles and some of the like mysticism and stuff like that was coming into it. Because as we know, BDSM isn't always about the physical. It's about creating a scene.
Yeah.
And so the medieval torture equipment, it just got into people's heads straight away. Really, really, really great. So I'm sure you've all probably guessed where it all came from, but the BDSM fetish that we use isn't just because it's from medieval times. It's because it gets into your psyche. It's being used as theatrical props. It looks menacing before you'd even put anybody on it. So that's why we choose to use that over just leaving somebody against a banister or whatever, because it's all about getting into people's heads.
It is a spectacle, isn't it? I mean, they're called a scene for a reason.
Yeah,
I
it's
suppose
a
that's one
spectacle.
of the reasons why they're called a scene,
Yeah,
isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Because it's all about, like, the... You know what I mean? Like a bit of showmanship, isn't it? Especially for like people like, you know, like yourself, like where you've got like an experience in it, like Sarah with like the floggers. It's like, I mean, like it's fucking impressive to watch.
Yeah, it totally is.
You know, there's a skill to it.
Going back to the spectacle, the reason why the other reason why they were using medieval torture implements, if you like, for BDSM, if you think about going back to what you said about before about execution, it's very public, it's a spectacle. Well, so also was torture and punishment, you know, like public, it was a very public thing. And when they were punishing people, they exposed them. So it was often on crosses or a pillory. They'd be naked, their arms and legs would be out spread, they'd be publicly available, seen.
Yeah.
And so that's why we use them in our scenes, because when they're outstretched on a cross or bent over things, they're vulnerable. They're positioned in a way to be presented to the crowd, presented to the dominatrix. This punishment they're going to get is a public, humiliating spectacle. So by, you know, spreading them out on these torture devices, it's like you are now public property and we're going to do this thing to you. This is a public scene.
But all consensual.
But all consensual, obviously. So that's where it all comes from. It's creating this display, the posture, exposing this person, humiliating them. You are mine to do what I want to, and you're all going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's all coming from that.
And then after, I'm going to get you a cup of tea and a chocolate.
Cup of tea and a chocolate and a blankie. And I'm dead nice to you then.
It's fucking mad, isn't it?
It is mad. It is mad.
It's mad.
And, you know, since I've been doing this podcast, people have said, I can't tell you how many times, you're actually really nice, aren't you? Literally.
Yeah, but that's it, isn't it? It's like
you're really nice, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I am. Just because I'm a dominatrix doesn't mean that I'm an absolute cunt all the time. I can be cunty.
I'll be honest with you. I mean, I'm not saying like with you, like, but like I suppose, like, you know, before I got into like any kind of like this lifestyle, someone mentioned like dominatrix or a mistress to me, I'd imagine it to be dead like aloof and be like, yeah, who the fuck are you talking to and all that. Do you know what I mean? Like, but it is like that kind of.
We're just people.
We are just people. Just
people who are into some kinky shit. We've got a sense of humour, and you know, if somebody wants me to be an uber cunt, I can just switch it on. But as a dominatrix, I'm not cunty all the time. I'm maybe not as caring as Sarah. Sarah's very maternal in the way she looks after people afterwards.
That's smart, yeah.
Okay, maybe not you. But when she's looking after
My
her subs...
Sarah?
Yeah, your Sarah. She's looked after me after a scene. And she was very maternal. And she was... I don't mean maternal in like, you know, a child sense, but in a caring way. Yeah. So I've beat the living daylights out of you now. And now I need to put you back together again. Yeah. I'm going to make sure you're okay. And I do care for people afterwards, but not in that sense. You know, I'll have a conversation with people and we'll sit and I'll go, got that one?
Yeah.
Whereas Sarah will put a blankie around you and she'll want to cuddle you in a little bit and give you the chocolate.
Yeah.
Because it'll save her from eating it, because I know what she's like with chocolate.
Loves it. Biscoff, you should see the amounts of fucking Biscoff eggs we've got.
She's actually put a thing on FetLife for people to guess.
Fucking ridiculous.
She said, I've bought in a big load of Biscoff eggs for this length of time. I can't remember how long it was now, 30 days or something, I can't remember. And she'd have a guess how many. And I was like, I would say about 280. And she went, more. I went, oh, fuck off.
It's nuts. Even I don't know how many there is, but they're fucking everywhere.
It's funny because after school at Kink, I was fucked. I wasn't very well, and I was fucked. And she just came over to me and she went, I've got something for you. And she went like that. She went, oh, it was a Biscoff egg. And I was so grateful for it. Because I was hungry, I hadn't really had loads to eat. And in the car on the way home, I just needed a bit of sugar just to get me home. Fucking inhaled it. Absolutely lovely. I haven't had it before. Nice. Lovely.
Do you know what, though? The one thing I've said to her, though, like, you bought that many, you're probably going to, after your next 3, you're going to be like, don't like them anymore.
That's it, yeah.
And then what the fuck are we going to do?
You put yourself off them, don't you?
Yeah.
You just I was like that with Reese's.
I used to be obsessed with Reese's.
You could sell them in work. Put them in the bowl.
Yeah.
You could.
I used to be obsessed with Reese's, and then I just got it. the kids would like get at me for like fucking birthdays, Christmas, and then I got to one where I think I had like one of the cupcakes, and I was like,
Yeah, sick
like
of it
these
now.
anymore now, you know.
Yeah, and then you don't really want to tell people. Like, yeah.
But then there comes a stage where you have to say, like, I really don't like these anymore. Please stop fucking
Stop buying them
me.
for me. Yeah. Anyway, on that cupcake bombshell, we're gonna go. So, shall I do the outro, or can you remember
you
it?
do the outro, because I can never forget your man.
Funny enough, I was out with Barry and Kev last night. You were there for a little bit, weren't you? But you weren't there when we were getting pissed.
Yeah,
later
I
on.
was there for a little bit. I had a time one.
We wanted to get a group photo, but you got off.
I know you did mention about doing it, like, yeah.
Yeah. So, Barry and Kev were doing the if you binge watching thing at the end, and they got it right. So
Yeah.
next time they're on, I'm going to get them to do it. Kev's already got it down, really, it's Barry.
Oh, he fucking was, wouldn't he?
I know, yeah. Little swass. He's a
Yeah.
sucko.
He brings you the fucking apple in and everything, doesn't he, when you're doing it, he can't.
He doesn't know, but he might do now if he sees this. So,
Selling, yeah.
if you binge watch and put the kettle on, we'll see you in 5. If not, we'll see you next week.
Yeah.
Bye.
Ta-da.
And there we have it. Another day made better by listening to the creators of chaos. Thanks for dropping by, and if you enjoyed the show, we'd really appreciate you sharing your love for the Pad to Sell podcast with your friends. Don't forget to give us a follow on our socials, maybe leave us some 5-star reviews, and feel free to send us an email to medic@thepadsellpodcast.co.uk, or even interact with us on Facebook, because we love chatting to you. Be sure to stop by next week, because, as Bowie says, I don't know where I'm going next, but I promise it won't be boring. Catch you soon.